students back to school. It'll start with seniors and preps and end with all grades back in class by the end of the month. Give an inch, take a mile. Queenslanders let loose after a long weekend of relaxed restrictions, and they've paid a heavy price for their efforts. Our own little border bubble, Australia and New Zealand, tipped to announce an agreement that will pave the way for international travel. China feeling the weight of the world as global pressure mounts on the nation to come clean on COVID-19. And NRL kick-off, clubs come back to life as players take the first steps towards a season restart.
This is 10 News First Queensland with Georgina Lewis.
Good evening. First tonight, children across Queensland are going back to school. For weeks, students, parents and teachers have been left in limbo as the government made up its mind. But with our curve flattening and pressure mounting, the Premier has finally unveiled her plan to return classrooms to normal.
The learning from home experiment is almost over.
But it has been a challenge, juggling work and school at the same time.
Anastasia Palaszczuk has been under increasing pressure to get more children back in classrooms. Today, an acknowledgement of just how hard remote learning has been.
I understand that parents are finding it incredibly difficult at the moment, and I know that it's been really tough on parents at home, that it has been a difficult juggling act for parents.
From May 11, kindy, prep, Year 1, Year 11 and Year 12 students can go back to school. 5 days later, those arrangements will be reviewed. On May 25, the remainder of students are set to return.
All going to plan, low transmissions continuing. We are planning to have all children back in the classroom with full lessons.
But there is still challenges. The union insists it will be a struggle for teachers who now have just days to prepare different resources for different year levels.
And trying to deliver in three completely different ways, to be perfectly honest, as a teacher myself, sounds to me to be an almost impossible task.
Another 3 weeks of homeschooling will send parents stark raving mad.
Students won't have to repeat the year, but assessments will be modified to cater for the disruption. Things returning back to normal hangs on how well coronavirus is contained.
A lot of work will need to be done next week with parents and schools to sort out those areas that I'm most concerned about.
Anyone who is unwell must not attend. Adults in schools should maintain social distancing and there'll be extra cleaning, but the biggest fear is drop-off and pick-up time.
That's when people congregate, that's when adults congregate, and that's actually the biggest risk in all this.
If there was an outbreak in a school, we would have to close that school down, do the deep cleaning and everything, but we have plans in place.
The road out is becoming clearer, with the Premier revealing the reopening of restaurants and cafes is imminent.
I can't say whether it's early June or late June, but I'm going to have those discussions.
And John Paul Gonzo joins us now from State Parliament. JP, you have an update on new cases.
Georgie, only 3 new confirmed cases today. It is a rise compared to previous numbers, but health authorities say we are still on the right track, and that is because those new infections are believed to have been contracted overseas, one in the US, one in the UK and one on board a cruise ship. Our total tally now sits at 1,038. The Chief Health Officer is again urging all Queenslanders showing symptoms to get tested. Over the weekend, we've seen a reduction in the number of people being tested, and that is cause for concern. Of course, we know further restrictions cannot ease unless more people get tested. Georgie.
Thank you, JP, with the latest there live at State Parliament. Police have dished out tens of thousands of dollars in fines to people who blatantly disregarded social distancing rules. Officers were called to multiple gatherings at the weekend and were even forced to break up a party at one Gold Coast property 2 nights in a row.
An Airbnb birthday bash about to become very expensive.
Birthday boy. That's good. Oh, happy birthday, mate. Yeah.
Police received a noise complaint for the Fitzwilliam Street rental on Saturday night, slapping 18 partygoers with fines for breaching social distancing rules.
Police are still seeing instances where members of our community are blatantly and recklessly disregarding the directives.
To make matters worse, 5 were repeat offenders. Officers had already issued 7 infringement notices to revellers at the house the night before.
To go back a second time, I think we're all in disbelief. Completely unacceptable.
At $1,300 each, the celebration clocked up a total of more than $33,000 in fines. And it wasn't the only party police were called to over the weekend. Dozens fled from this disco in Pimpama when officers arrived.
Do you guys live here too? No, I do not.
Leaving the 28-year-old host to cop the fine. While earlier that evening, another 9 people were caught out at a birthday party in Banyo.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anyone else here? Or is that it?
A disappointing result for authorities who say the message cannot be clearer.
Everyone knows the rules. In fact, the people that we've spoken to clearly knew the rules and still went ahead and did what they did.
From parties to parks, it seems everyone is enjoying a little more freedom. Over the weekend, 146 fines were issued.
The majority of people have been responsible and doing a really good job over the weekend.
Today, Queenslanders made the most of the long weekend, with most abiding by the rules. But it will take at least 14 days to know the impact of the eased restrictions on infection rates.
The proof will be in the pudding in 2 weeks' time.
Samantha Butler for 10 News First.
Huge crowds at one of the Gold Coast's most idyllic lookouts has threatened to bring back tougher restrictions. As Matthew Howard explains, police are warning people to stay away from Burleigh Hill or face hefty fines.
It's become one of southeast Queensland's most popular weekend hangouts, but the size of the crowds here at Burleigh Hill last night has left authorities fuming. Hundreds were filmed holding picnics and drinking on the headland to watch the sunset just a day after COVID-19 restrictions were eased. Police say it threatened to undo all the hard work of social isolation of the past month.
Frankly, you're living under a rock if you don't know that getting out in groups like that is a danger to yourselves and it's a danger to the general public.
Officers began monitoring the situation until the crowd grew so large they were forced to call in backup. Up to 6 units patrolled the area and warned dozens to move on. No fines, though, were handed out.
I don't think we need to be taking money out of people's pockets, but we just really need to take it on board and change what they did yesterday, really.
Today, police asked council to install barriers and more signage to ward off onlookers. More officers have been tasked to patrol the area tonight with a warning to anyone caught breaching the rules. The time for warnings is over and you will face a fine.
Social distancing is a requirement, and if this continues, we have no other option but to issue those $1,334 infringements.
If the rules are repeatedly broken, the restrictions may once again increase.
The federal government is getting closer to opening our international borders. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern will sit in on a meeting of our national cabinet tomorrow to discuss flights between our countries. It'll be the first time a foreign leader has ever done so.
They haven't always seen eye to eye.
I've been absolutely clear. This is corrosive to our relationship.
But as Scott Morrison prepares to host another meeting of the National Cabinet, he's extended the invitation to a close neighbour.
I don't believe it has been done before.
They'll discuss lifting bans to allow Australians and New Zealanders to move freely between the two countries.
The meeting will discuss a range of matters in relation to the COVID response on both sides of the Tasman, including the creation of a trans-Tasman travel bubble.
Our strongest indication yet, we're closer to opening our international borders.
And we don't want to give away the gains we've made, and nor does Australia want to see any risks either. But we also see a lot of opportunity.
For Australia and New Zealand to show how closely they have worked together and to make sure that we build on those relationships for the future.
And as National Cabinet looks at possibly easing tough social restrictions this Friday, the Prime Minister has again made it clear that any changes will depend on how many people download the government's contact tracing app.
The major obstacle now between us freeing up a lot of these restrictions.
Technology New Zealand is also looking to adopt. So far, more than 4 million Australians have signed up, meaning many still haven't, including the former Deputy Prime Minister.
I'm a free person, and one of the greatest things we have in this nation is the liberty to say yes and the liberty to say no.
Who, despite the incentives, still can't be convinced. Amber Austin-Wright for 10 News First.
Global pressure is building on China to come clean about the origins of the coronavirus. Australia has tried to enlist Britain's support for an independent international inquiry, while the US is increasingly adamant the virus escaped from a Chinese laboratory.
Whatever the president's motivation, the US is now going in boots and all, claiming the COVID pandemic sprang from a lab in China's Wuhan Institute of Virology.
There's enormous evidence that that's where this began.
Yet all the people that have died, the souls that have been lost in this horrible thing that shouldn't have happened.
Mike Pompeo, the former spy chief who's now Trump's Secretary of State, does not claim, as others have, that China manufactured the virus. Rather, he says it escaped while being studied under substandard laboratory conditions. And China's first instinct, he says, was to cover it up.
China behaved like authoritarian regimes do, attempted to conceal and hide and confuse. It employed the World Health Organization as a tool to do the same.
It got out. China should have stopped it.
China has threatened economic retaliation against Australia for pushing for an independent inquiry. But Scott Morrison is standing firm, and on this, the opposition is supporting him. In an overnight call with Britain's Prime Minister Boris Johnson, himself a COVID survivor, Mr Morrison pushed the need for a proper international investigation, and he is winning fans for that stand in Washington.
The Australians agree with that. You hear the Europeans beginning to say the same thing. I think the whole world is united, understanding that China brought this virus to the world.
Sarah Henderson, a government senator and head of the Parliamentary Human Rights Committee, wants Australia's collaborations with Chinese virus scientists put on hold, pending an urgent security review. China insists this coronavirus emerged naturally and struck first at the Wuhan live animal market. But global distrust is now on a steepening curve. Hugh Riminton for 10 News First.
A police officer has been suspended and 6 others are being investigated over leaked photos of former AFL player and coach Dean Laidley dressed as a woman. The photos were taken inside a station while the 53-year-old was being questioned over stalking allegations.
Former North Melbourne coach and premiership player Dean Laidley is no stranger to the spotlight.
This is why he's an exceptional coach. He breaks down the opposition. He's the best I've seen at it.
But his latest appearance wasn't supposed to go public.
Today we've interviewed a senior constable, a male senior constable from the Southern Metropolitan region.
The 53-year-old was dressed as a woman in a blonde wig when he was arrested at St Kilda on Saturday night. As Laidley was being questioned by police inside a station, his photo was unknowingly taken.
That employee has now been suspended effectively immediately.
2 photos, including his mugshot, were sent to at least 6 other officers through WhatsApp. The actions of those officers are also being investigated.
I think this had much more to do about football than it did about anything else.
On Twitter, Laidley's lawyer Dee Giannopoulos said, "Outraged that pictures of my client taken by some police officer on the sly when in custody in an interview have hit the media. Typical gross breach of privacy."
So it's one thing to have your photograph taken when you're in Federation Square or just in a public place. It's quite another thing when you're in a very vulnerable circumstance, such as being subject to a police interview.
The senior constable allegedly responsible for taking and sharing the photos is facing criminal charges. If found guilty, he could be jailed for up to 2 years or be fined up to $40,000.
We view this breach really seriously. It is a significant breach and something that should not have occurred.
Police Professional Standards Command is now investigating.
And Jade Cottick joins us now live. Jade, what more do we know about Dean Laidley's arrest?
Georgie, good evening to you. Well, we know police were responding to a disturbance on Saturday night when Dean Laidley was arrested outside a St Kilda property at about 9 p.m. He faced Melbourne Magistrates Court here yesterday, and despite having a lawyer present, he did not apply for bail. He will now reappear at Melbourne Magistrates Court next Monday, May 11. He was charged with stalking along with other offences.
Thank you, Jade, live there in Melbourne. NRL players have come together for the first time in 6 weeks. They've been briefed on the biosecurity restrictions they'll have to adhere to, and it all starts with common sense.
Back to business for the Broncos on what felt a lot like the first day of school.
It's good to see you, man. To have everyone in the building, it was really positive.
After a team breakfast, there was a 2-hour lesson on the restrictions. The players even left with homework, the NRL's 40-page biosecurity document to study. There's no visitors at home or heading out to see family or teammates, and no surfing or other forms of recreation. Players can walk their pets, but must stick close to home. Grocery shopping is allowed if they use the COVID Safe app. Any purchase of takeaway coffee must be registered with the club.
Well, not unless it's essential, is what they've been told. For some people, it's essential. For me, it's essential.
Temperature checks greeted the players at Parkwood. The Titans also removing their shoes as they reunited with teammates in the club's clean zone.
I'm going to get all the banter back in, but just good being back around the boys again.
Trent Robinson wasn't around his players this morning. The Roosters coach tested for COVID-19 after waking up with a sore throat. He hopes to be back tomorrow if all clear. In Melbourne, Cameron Smith's clearly made no use of a razor in isolation. The Storm confirming they'll move to their Albury training base tomorrow.
The fact that the borders between Victoria and New South Wales are open puts us in a different position. You know, New Zealand are a lot worse off than us. You know, the whole team, the whole squad have had to relocate.
The Warriors were the first team to get ball in hand in Tamworth as the game edges closer to a May 28 kickoff.
You know, whoever ends up being the premiers this year, they'll be remembered for a long, long time because this is such an unusual year.
Veronica Eggleton for 10 News First.
Coming up, travel companies in the firing line as Queenslanders are urged to join a class action over refunds. Also, profits plunge, Westpac becomes the next big bank to take a huge financial hit. Plus later, a field of nightmares, the fate of strawberry farmers hinging on a return of our restaurants.
MasterChef's out of the kitchen and into the burbs.
We're going to be out celebrating the suburbs all week. Who likes Thai food?
It's a Thai-rific challenge.
Oh my God, this is hectic.
With a Titanic disaster.
Oh my God, it's flooding.
Guys, there's water leaking and electricity.
But whose dish will be the most appetizing?
What a feast.
Gorgeous.
It's a huge winner. It is delicious.
It is beautifully spicy.
Yum. Take me to this restaurant every week.
MasterChef's Thai-rific challenge, 7:30 tonight.
Australia's Gary Flynn went into the 200-metre wheelie bin final, the rank outsider. What happened next made elite average games history.
Quickly into the bend. Oh no! The Dutchman's hit the deck. There's a pile-up. Call the council. Flynn's hit the front. Our man's going to win. Gold for Australia. Have some of that.
Incredible! They'll make TV ads out of this, JB.
Another make-it-look-easy moment from Sportsbet.
Want soft, beautiful feet? Try Shoal from Chemist Warehouse. The extra coarse roller head provides effective, gentle exfoliation, removing very hard skin. The Shoal Velvet Smooth electronic foot care system is $25.99. Live, look, feel well at Chemist Warehouse.
At Domino's, we pride ourselves on handcrafted pizzas, but after leaving our 265-degree ovens, the only hands that touch them are yours. Try any large pizza from just $15 delivered with zero contact delivery from Domino's.
A lot's changed over the last few months. For over 100 years, Allianz Australia has supported its customers through uncertainty and change. And we'll continue to ensure what matters most to you, because our support doesn't stop here.
Starbucks coffee is coming home, now available in supermarkets.
A 28-minute bike ride needs the same amount of energy as it takes to power 3 gaming consoles. What powers you? Uncle Toby's, Australia's favourite oats.
The value we get from my budget is incredible. People ask us what kind of fees we pay. I honestly don't notice because we've never had so much money.
Call my budget today.
Have You Been Paying Attention is back.
Oh, I've taped it. No spoilers. Sorry.
The new season returns tonight.
Well, good afternoon. The end of a long weekend coming to a close, and at the moment the roads are looking fairly quiet. The run here on Gympie Road, no problems through Aspley, looking really good, heading up towards the Pine River Bridge. The run over the Story Bridge, heading out of Kangaroo Point's looking fairly good. Got a 3-car crash here on Sandgate Road. It's heading outbound. 2 right-hand lanes are blocked just around Robinson Road East, heading up through Virginia. Not causing too much in the way of delays, not too much traffic around there, but they're fairly banged up, and they'll be there for quite some time yet. I'm Dave Andrews. Thanks to ABC Reading Eggs, and Georgie another check later in the bulletin.
We'll see you soon. Thanks, Dave. Constable Josh Presney has been remembered as a hero as the police force farewelled its 4th officer in a week. He was on his 2nd day of the job when he was killed in the highway crash that marks the deadliest day in Victoria Police's history.
A brother in blood and in blue, buckled in grief. When Josh Presney graduated from the academy last year, it was his older brother Alex who presented him his badge.
Josh's family has lost a son, a brother, a grandson, a cousin, and Stacey has lost a partner.
Josh's father Andrew fought through grief to pay tribute to his son on Triple M this morning.
He's my best mate. Yeah, we did so much together. Or we would go, interstate and compete in an Ironman.
So many police members that work with Josh talked about his compassion, his integrity, his dedication, his love of the community.
Some of Josh's closest mates gathered as close as they could to farewell their friend, and officers across the state were also present in their own way.
I advise all members that Constable Josh Presney is leaving the Xavier College Chapel for his last resting place.
Great attention!
Josh was a die-hard Collingwood fan. His greatest passion was music. Today, his family made sure the Foo Fighters' song Hero beamed from the chapel.
He will be forever a part of the Victoria Police family, and he will always, always, to us, be a hero.
A fitting anthem for an exceptional young man. Natasha Rexelby for 10 News First.
Westpac is the latest big bank to record a massive plunge in first half profits. Earnings dropped to their lowest level in almost 2 decades, but the new man in charge says banks are still in a good position to support the economy.
A pandemic and some own goals delivering Westpac a painful kick.
Extraordinary time. The bank is dealing with the twin impacts of COVID-19 and some of our own issues, regulatory issues.
It's a challenging time too for new CEO Peter King, who insists the balance sheet is strong.
We delivered a $1.2 billion profit. It was down 2/3.
Cash profit has plunged 70% to $993 million. The bank is bracing for a $1.6 billion hit from COVID-19 losses, and it's set aside $900 million for a potential penalty from an AUSTRAC money laundering lawsuit, which includes alleged failures to properly vet payments facilitating child exploitation. As for the economy, it's expecting a decline of more than 8% by September and unemployment to hit 9% in June. That will feed through to property prices and deliver a big plunge.
And the best thing for the bank and the economy is more customers going back into employment or back to their businesses.
And there's going to be less cash circulating through the economy. Westpac won't be paying out a dividend to shareholders for now, saying it's taking the advice of the banking regulator and will hang on to the money.
For retirees who need to live off the income from their investments, obviously income's getting hard to find with interest rates very low, and as we're seeing, dividends from many companies are drying up.
Despite the uncertainty, analysts say our banks are in better health than 12 years ago.
The banks basically have double the capital they had going into the GFC.
Helpful in these risky times. Gillian Bowen for 10 News First.
Australians are being invited to join a class action against travel companies who aren't offering refunds during COVID-19 restrictions. Law firm Slater & Gordon says airlines such as Qantas and Jetstar should be offering cash refunds rather than travel vouchers. It claims holidaymakers have been left tens of thousands of dollars out of pocket.
By holding onto their customers' money like this, these airlines are treating everyday Australians like a bank, and we say they're knowingly breaching their legal obligations.
The law firm is warning companies to fix their mistakes or face legal action. For the first time in 129 years, Labor Day has been held without a colourful march through Queensland streets. COVID-19 may have disrupted the annual event, but the spirit of the big day was kept alive online.
Cutting a lonely figure on Labor Day, the boss of Queensland's peak union body.
The street that we're standing next to here, Wharf Street, would normally just be packed with people and colour.
No 30,000 strong rally through Brisbane this year thanks to COVID-19.
It does feel very weird.
Lachlan Hurst hasn't missed a Labor Day march in over 40 years until today.
It's vitally important that we keep the union movement alive and thriving.
Like so many other organisations, it's turned to technology to get the message out there.
Solidarity forever. A very special thank you to all the frontline workers out there who have looked after Queenslanders in recent times.
The setting may have changed this year, but the passion remains as strong as ever, with members of the union movement proudly displaying their colours from home and posting their Labor Day tributes on social media.
It's not the same, of course, as being there in the streets, but I didn't have to get up quite so early this morning.
They say it's also a chance to highlight those who've fallen through the cracks of the federal government's job subsidy scheme.
It's casual workers with less than 12 months service who've missed out on the JobKeeper payment, and we campaign still to try and include those workers.
So their fight goes on. Brendan Savage for 10 News First.
Well, time now for an early weather check, Josh. A chilly start for the southeast.
Very chilly indeed, Georgie. Ipswich dropping down to 3.6 degrees earlier today. That's 6.4 degrees below average for this time of year. It didn't stop there. Temperatures plummeting into the minuses across the southeast inland. Applethorpe getting down to -2. That was a whopping 8 below average. And even Stanthorpe getting down to -1.5 degrees earlier today. So very cold indeed, all due to a cold, dry air mass coming up from the south. And we had some lighter winds overnight, allowing those temperatures to drop even further. This afternoon it warmed up somewhat, 26 the top in Brisbane. We hit 23 on the sunny coast, 25 degrees at the Gold Coast, 26 at Logan, and the same mark at Ipswich. 7 degrees overnight for Toowoomba, warming up to 22 this afternoon. But of course, I'll be back at 5 to 6 with all the week's weather details. Georgie?
We'll see you then. Thanks, Josh. Ahead, a matter of life or death, the desperate call to boost mental health funding. Also, life in lockdown, growing discontent across the US as the president promises a vaccine by year's end. And a new day dawns for Italy as the country wakes from its corona hibernation.
As a parent, you ask, what's the best way to support my child? From first words to gaining confidence for new adventures, you're right there by their side. Wherever they are on their learning journey, ABC Reading Eggs is there to help you. Start your ABC Reading Eggs journey today.
Have you been missing Ed, Ursula, Marty, Kitty and Sam?
I mean, say no more as far as I...
Well, tonight, they're back.
I love you so much. I'm not unhappy with that.
The new season of Have You Been Paying Attention returns tonight.
At Bunnings, we're here to help with some easy projects you can do while you're at home. Like finally setting up those shelves in the garage. You can shop online, order the essentials you need, and we'll bundle it up for you. It's like having the warehouse at your fingertips.
Suncorp has been supporting Queenslanders through life's ups and downs for over 100 years. And while 2020 is proving to be one of the toughest yet, we're here to support our customers more than ever. So, if you're a Suncorp customer in need of financial support, visit suncorp.com.au. Supporting you when you need it most. That's the Suncorp spirit.
At Spotlight, fall into winter with 50% off ready-to-hang timber Venetian blinds. Turner thermal curtains from $39 a pair. 25% off selections rod sets, so you can warm it, shade it and keep it cool for less. Sale on now. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
If you're a small business, you've probably got a lot more questions than answers right now, which is why there's never been a more important time to speak to a professional accountant. They're specifically trained to help with business planning and cash flow management strategies tailored to support your business through these challenging times. They can even lend a hand with applications for government support to make sure you get the help your business needs. For further support and assistance, contact a professional accountant today.
Bluey McDonald with 32 items in the Forgotta grocery bag lifting.
He's brought home the chockies with the milk, the bread, the bog roll and saved himself 45 cents.
Another make it look easy moment from Sportsbet.
You don't give in. You don't give up. You push on when most would have pushed off. You lend a hand, whether a hand was asked for or not. It's called Aussie Spirit for good reason, because it takes spirit to get through times like these. Lucky you've got it in spades. It's what inspires us to be by your side to help. Together we'll get through this. We always do. Search Toyota, here to help.
Lendy is helping thousands of households save on average about $2,832 in interest over the next year on their home loans. That's millions in savings for Aussies when they need it most. How can Lendy help you save?
Make your home a sanctuary with distinctive luxury homewares up to 75% off with Canning Bell's Luxury for Less sale. Shop online with code FREE for fast free shipping and a 100-day home trial. Limited time only. CanningBell.com.
With Light and Easy, you can enjoy delicious, healthy meals with the safety of their contactless delivery service. In fact, Light and Easy has recently been rated Australia's #1 healthy meal delivery service for customer satisfaction. Order today.
Who likes Thai food?
It's a terrific challenge.
What a feast.
Gorgeous. Whose dish will be the most appetising?
You're watching 10 News First. Just under 250,000 people are now known to have been killed by COVID-19 from more than 3.5 million confirmed cases. A weekend spike in the US has taken its death toll to more than 67,000. But it hasn't stopped the protesters calling for more lockdown restrictions to be eased. Donald Trump supporters rallied for a third day in California, demanding beaches be reopened. And at a virtual town hall, the president backed them.
Some states, I think, frankly, aren't going fast enough. I really believe you can go to parks, you can go to beaches, you keep it, you keep the spread, you stay away a certain amount.
Trump also admitted the US could lose 100,000 lives to the virus. Last month, he said the number would be around 60,000. Italians are right now waking up to an easing of some tight restrictions. Parks and public gardens have reopened and residents are allowed to exercise outside their homes. They can also visit relatives within their region, but not friends. Schools, cinemas and most shops will stay shut, while bars and restaurants will resume trading next month. Italy reported 174 coronavirus deaths on Sunday, the lowest toll since its lockdown began on March 10. Russia has experienced its biggest spike in a single day. More than 10,000 people have contracted COVID-19, bringing the total to more than 134,000. 58 people also died on the same day, bringing the death toll to 1,280. It's the end of the 5th week of lockdown in the country. Health experts are warning of a devastating wave of mental health illness in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic. Frontline workers say thousands of lives will be at risk unless vital support funding is boosted.
Getting out of her house and onto her scooter is about the only thing that keeps 16-year-old Montana Webb happy.
Oh, first try.
Life under lockdown has been especially tough for the teen who has Tourette's syndrome, a complex neurological disorder that causes involuntary tics, such as spontaneous swearing and whistling.
Everything just builds up and it will just flare up out of nowhere and they will just come bursting out.
Like many vulnerable people, Montana is struggling with isolation and anxiety.
My fear was her mental health.
not being able to get out, not being able to see people, the fears behind it all.
Those fears about mental health are echoed by the experts, who warn the aftermath of COVID-19 could see a dramatic rise in mental health cases, unlike anything Australia has seen before.
This is an absolute urgent priority, and we can't be having superficial messages. We can't be having, band-aids or half-baked solutions.
Here at Origin Youth Health, the facility is deserted. It normally looks after in excess of 6,000 patients, but for now, most of their support services have had to stop. And it's not just those with existing conditions who are set to suffer. New modelling done by two of the nation's leading mental health institutes shows without immediate additional funding, the country's mental health system will be inundated with thousands of critically urgent mental health cases.
The question for the National Cabinet is a death from suicide or serious mental illness of equal value to a death from COVID-19.
Mental health funding will be discussed at the National Cabinet meeting on Friday. Catherine Firkin for 10 News First.
Stay with us. Tonight's top stories follow the break. Also, how COVID-19 could cripple our strawberry fields forever. And the zookeepers proving they're no chumps when it comes to entertaining chimps.
Tonight, the United States claimed COVID-19 escaped from a lab in China, but is there any evidence to back it up?
Calls to protect Aussie jobs by cutting migration after the coronavirus crisis.
And parents homeschooling their kids are relying on Google, with searches like "what is an adverb" skyrocketing, which is a big change from another popular search item, which is how to hide day drinking from colleagues.
Well, that and more coming up at 6:30.
Is that wine?
Hot tea.
MasterChef's out of the kitchen and into the burbs.
Who likes Thai food?
It's a Thai-rific challenge.
What a feast.
Gorgeous.
It's a huge winner.
Whose dish will be the most appetising? MasterChef's Thai-rific challenge, 7:30 tonight.
At Terry White ChemMart, we're here to help this winter with expert advice from masterclass trained pharmacists and a huge range of pharmacy-only cold and flu products. Get real winter defence at Terry White ChemMart. Now that's real chemistry.
At Domino's, we pride ourselves on handcrafted pizzas, but after leaving our 265-degree ovens, the only hands that touch them are yours. Try any large pizza from just $15 delivered with zero contact delivery from Domino's.
Mum, wherever you are, today is still all about you.
This year, more than any year, it's the thought that counts. A personalised gift designed with love. The tech she needs to stay in touch. The perfect way to start her day. Or keep her comfy and warm at night. Find the perfect gift for Mum at Harvey Norman. Our spacious stores are open. Or shop online and we can deliver direct to Mum's door. This Mother's Day, make it all about her at Harvey Norman.
Dad, we might need to pick up some more bread.
Dad.
I'll pick some up.
Thanks.
Now, more than ever, we know what families are going through. So this week, you can pick up Australian Cavendish bananas for just $2 a kilo. Find these and more great specials in our online catalogue. We want you to always get your Woolies worth.
That's why I pick Woolies.
When headaches hold you back, try Nurofen Quicksorb. Its advanced formula absorbs quickly, relieving headaches fast. For quick, effective pain relief, choose Nurofen Quicksorb.
Officeworks donated this 30-second ad to Lifeline because every 30 seconds, someone in crisis calls, which means now, more than ever, they need people at the other end of the line. So please, give what you can at lifeline.org.au, because for people in crisis, every second counts.
With Light and Easy, you can enjoy delicious healthy meals with the safety of their contactless delivery service. In fact, Light and Easy has recently been rated Australia's #1 healthy meal delivery service for customer satisfaction. Order today.
This is for the hundreds of thousands of folks that keep racing going. Because just like you, we love it. and happily give back 4 times more than any of our competitors to keep them running. That money supports track workers, apprentices, farriers, caterers and more, right here. And that's worth backing. TAB. Long may we play.
Know when to stop, don't go over the top, gamble responsibly.
Has something been missing from your Monday nights?
What a pack of weirdos.
The new season returns tonight.
Hello again. Well, that's pretty much it. The long weekend done and dusted. Back to work tomorrow. For now, the road's not doing too badly, though. The Riverside Expressway and Captain Cook Bridge a short time ago heading into the city was looking very, very light. No problems heading out onto the Pacific Motorway out to about Greenslopes. Good run out towards Coronation Drive as well. And that crash we showed you earlier on Sandgate Road just getting picked up now. 3 cars outbound around Robinson Road East, and that should be gone fairly shortly, not causing any delays. I'm Dave Andrews. Thanks to ABC Reading Eggs. Have a great night tonight, and I'll check the roads again for you tomorrow.
Tonight's top stories: seniors and preps return to school next week under a staggered return. All other students are expected back by the end of the month. Queenslanders partying under relaxed restrictions fined tens of thousands of dollars as officers were called to multiple gatherings, including one place twice. And police warn people to stay away from Burleigh Hill after huge crowds threaten to bring back tougher restrictions. As the impacts of the coronavirus continue to bite, strawberry growers fear much of this season's crop will go to waste. Harvesting is about to get underway, but reduced sales will deliver few sweet rewards.
Laura Wells knows her way around an early season strawberry, but worries many of us will miss out.
We're here, we want to feed the nations, and we're proud to do it. We're passionate about it.
Down the road, Adrian Schultz has a smaller crop, but quality is high.
We've had some very, very good weather, cracking weather for growing strawberries.
As we cautiously move toward easing COVID-19 restrictions, there are still slim pickings when it comes to dining out.
But we would like to see clubs and pubs and restaurants open up again, COVID safe, even if that means that half the patrons are in the place.
Laura sells exclusively to Coles, but that's no buffer as cash-strapped shoppers look to cut down on non-essentials.
My plea would be for them to continue to get behind us as a farm. Don't do without them. Pay the money.
The first few boxes of strawberries from this farm will be available to retailers this week, with full-on picking expected to start by the end of the month. And that'll be a lot of strawberries available to local and national markets, effectively still in lockdown.
The providors that we sell the fruit to, that then on-sell it to the restaurants and so forth, they're not in business at the moment.
The restaurant and cafe sector want their doors opened again by June, and Queensland's Premier is hopeful.
I think June's a good ambitious target. So I'm going to be speaking to some of their representative associations this week.
Good news for an industry ready to go.
Can't stop the fruit, and the fruit will be coming.
Tim Collins for 10 News First.
There's a bit of monkey business going on at Adelaide Zoo. Keepers have pulled out all the stops to entertain the ISO bored chimpanzees. Clearly, the crazy antics were well received by a rather captive audience.
Fascinating, isn't it? It's like all 4-year-olds just love water.
Usually it's the primates putting on the performance, proving it really is monkey see, monkey do. Do anything in isolation these days.
You have to do.
Well, it is sport time now, Jono. The NRL shutdown may have come at a good time for a few Broncos.
Good time to rest up from injuries. Georgie, thank you. Hello, everyone. Coming up, Anthony Seibold expects Matt Lodge back on deck for the season restart, but might be waiting on another of his stars. That's next. Also, the Aussies tour of Bangladesh has already been cancelled, but Marnus Labuschagne's hopeful others won't be for later in the year. And Jess Fox takes to a much smaller body of water in her bid for gold.
As a parent, you ask, what's the best way to support my child? From first words to gaining confidence for new adventures, you're right there by their side. Wherever they are in their learning journey, ABC Reading Eggs is there to help you. Start your ABC Reading Eggs journey today.
How an egg cracked Danny Venn's MasterChef hopes next.
Have you been missing Ed, Ursula, Marty, Kitty and Sam?
I mean, say no more as far as I...
Well, tonight, they're back.
I love you so much.
I'm not unhappy with that.
The new season of Have You Been Paying Attention returns tonight.
With Belong, you get 10 gigs of mobile data for $25 a month. That's 10 gigs of family time, plus unlimited international calls and texts to selected countries for $5 extra. Together, we're different. Belong.
There's nothing like a cold glass of Milo. You stir it all the way down and leave a little party on top. Yep, it's the Milo crunch you can't resist. Ah, love it.
Smartly monitor and track physical distancing at work with the new i2 Safe app. With smart monitoring Bluetooth, the app tracks worker distance to ensure a safe work environment. App access available soon. Register your interest today at cloudA2k.com/i2safe.
Keep running, training, walking, keep working. The Athlete's Foot gives a fit about helping you stay you safely. Find your perfect fit from our range of brands at theathletesfoot.com.au. The Athlete's Foot, here to give a fit.
Being stuck at home doesn't have to mean being stuck for things to do. Because if you take a look around, there's inspiration everywhere. All you need to do is repurpose, reuse, recycle, and reacquaint yourself with the simple pleasure of play. Ryobi 1 Plus. 1 Plus U equals endless possibilities. Available at bunnings.com.au.
Almost perfect. The only thing missing is you. That's why I trust eHarmony.
No one can connect you with high-quality singles like eHarmony. That's why every 14 minutes, someone finds love on eHarmony. Start free today.
This is for the hundreds of thousands of folks that keep racing going. Because just like you, we love it. And happily give back 4 times more than any of our competitors to keep them running. That money supports track workers, apprentices, farriers, caterers and more, right here. And that's worth backing. Tab. Long may we play.
Know when to stop, don't go over the top, gamble responsibly.
Ready for a change? Suncorp now has 0 monthly account keeping fees on all deposit accounts. That's on both personal accounts and business accounts. That's the Suncorp spirit.
1, 2, 3, 4. So clap it back. Hey, clap, clap. So clap it back. Hey, I'm getting you right back. 'Cause you're not gonna stand around living like that. So clap it back. Clap it. Clap, clap. Alright. So clap it back. Hey.
Centrum provides multiple health benefits in just one tablet. Centrum, complete from A to Zinc.
Who likes Thai food?
It's a terrific challenge.
What a feast.
Gorgeous.
Whose dish will be the most appetizing?
Welcome back. Anthony Seibold has confirmed David Fifita will return several weeks after the season gets back underway on May 28th. While he's still recovering from knee surgery, the break has come at a good time for prop Matt Lodge.
Usual wrecking ball David Fifita isn't used to moving this slow. And it could be a slow return to the field, according to coach Anthony Seibold.
David will miss the start. He'll probably miss, a few weeks after the start as well.
The break has helped Alex Glenn, Brodie Croft, Corey Oates and Jordan Kahu overcome niggles, while for Matt Lodge...
We'll be there or thereabouts, which is really positive for us.
Their Wednesday return to training will be severely affected. Seibold proposing OzTag-style training, where players rip off tags on the side of each other's shorts to avoid any type of contact.
We are able to compromise with regards to the preparation. I mean, we can only train in groups of 10 as well. So there is some limitations, and they're less than ideal.
Titans players brought a positive attitude to day one in their new world.
If everyone buys into it, everyone's listening to the protocols, I think, things will run smoother.
Josh Adokar was on his best behaviour.
Very well.
As Storm players arrived for their briefing before confirming Albury will be their new home for a training camp leading into round one.
I'm confident with the steps that we're taking, the measures we're taking, that, the environment that the players and the staff will be in will be a really healthy and a safe environment.
And the Warriors spent the day settling into their new surroundings in Tamworth. If anyone knows how to handle quarantine by now, it's them.
Our focus is on, we've had guys locked down for 5 weeks.
Though their toughest task may yet be ahead of them in the coming weeks.
I've got no doubt it'll take a few days to get themselves back into, decent running shape.
Josh McLean for 10 News First.
Marnus Labuschagne is hopeful any cutbacks to the Australian team's coaching staff won't be too severe. Reports emerged today that Cricket Australia had secured a $50 million loan to help bail them out of their financial crisis. But cuts to the national team support staff is still a possibility.
There's going to be a point where we're going to need to help each other out and throw and do a few things ourselves, which is fine. I think that's a part of the game. And like I said, hopefully there's no, the loss isn't too much.
While their tour of Bangladesh has been postponed, Labuschagne is optimistic some of their mid-year tours can still go ahead. Jessica Fox fears she may lose paddle conditioning while locked down in isolation. The dual Olympic kayak medalist has been forced to get creative to ensure she's fit to go for gold next year in Tokyo.
Life has been an endless summer for Jessica Fox, who hasn't felt the chill of a Sydney winter in over 10 years.
I've just got trackies. That's about it. But since we're not going to be leaving the house much, I don't think I need a fancy wardrobe.
She should be paddling around under the European sun. A dip in the backyard pool will have to do for now.
I try and think of it in ways that, yes, I can't paddle on the whitewater and I might lose a bit of technical skill, but where else can I gain?
The boat has become an extension of Fox's body as the 7-time world champion gets creative with training, fuelled by knowledge her biggest rivals abroad are still on the water.
When I meet them, I'll be ready in different ways.
The 25-year-old is already a veteran of the sport and is working on her mental strength to help carry the weight of expectation heading into her 3rd Games.
And it's quite an emotional event, the Olympics.
In Tokyo, Fox will balance 2 events after leading the fight for women's canoe slalom to be added to the Olympic program.
Our sport had stayed the same for 60 or 70 years and no one had really questioned why we didn't have equality yet.
That gives her 2 shots at completing her collection of Olympic medals after bringing home silver in London and bronze in Rio.
There's one colour missing in my set.
Fox is trying to embrace the slower pace of life on dry land. She's taken up painting and become a foster mum to Pink, the greyhound, to help pass time.
455-ish days, I think.
And counting. Ros Kelly for 10 News First.
Only in the virtual world is this matchup a possibility. A 23-time Grand Slam champion, a fashion model and Mario took on a former top 10 player, a pop star and Yoshi. In an online Mario tennis tournament, Serena Williams and Gigi Hadid lost to Madison Keys and Seal.
Oh man, I gotta stay on my side, sorry.
The tournament had at least had a Grand Slam-like prize purse, with eventual champs Taylor Fritz and TikTok star Addison Rae winning $1 million for their chosen charity. As far as home workouts go, this effort raises the bar. 3 champion pole vaulters went head-to-head in a backyard bound-off, which saw them try and clear as many jumps in 2 rounds of 15 minutes.
Yeah, I did 36. Yeah. Yes, you got 36. Mondo, we're just waiting for clarification. Were you 35 or 36? Dramatic moments here for the ultimate. 36. 36? I think you should share the first place. Or do you want to take...
They did in the end decide to split it, so given Renaud Lavini and Mondo Duplantis are in the sharing mood, they can also divvy up our play of the day. I love their backyard training. Very impressive.
You wouldn't want to fling yourself over the back fence, would you?
No, they wouldn't.
Thanks, Jono. Another cool morning is on the way. Josh has all the details next.
You better pay attention. Comedian Tom Gleisner's live next.
On tonight's menu, we're serving up something big. At 7:30, it all begins with the Masters of Cooking.
That is unbelievable.
Then the Masters of Laughter are back.
I've given you the points. What more do you want?
Just you to admit that you're wrong.
Enjoy tonight's menu. Bon appetit.
Let's do it, baby. It's on, mate.
Make this week one to remember. Run second, third or even fourth and get money back in bonus up to $50 on selected races every day. PointsBet.
Studies show that being overweight can impair your immune system. So there's no better time than now to be healthy. Be strong. Be whatever you want to be. OptiSlim has your back. With delicious shakes, bars and soups, the OptiSlim weight loss range can help you take back control of your body, lose weight, improve your immune system and be your version of better. Order online at optislim.com.au or Chemist Warehouse today.
It's the perfect time to get cosy with winter home essentials from Maya. With 40% off selected quilts, pillows, protectors and blankets. And 40% off when you buy 2 or more items of loose cookware.
Maya, my store.
We remain dedicated to helping Australians. We've introduced a help program with a range of relief options to assist customers currently in need. Call us to find out how we can tailor help options for you.
Fancy a new flavour this refill?
Murray River salted caramel.
New Tim Tam crafted collection. What more could you wish for?
Look after your health online at health365.com.au with over 700 of your favourite Australian-owned health, vitamin and skincare products online, home delivered fast. Buy smart, buy Australian. Online at health365.com.au.
Introducing BP Rewards. Now you can earn points with every BP purchase.
BP Rewards.
Use BP points to spend in store.
BP Rewards.
Or get dollars off fuel.
BP Rewards. BP Rewards.
Or you can choose to earn Qantas points.
Now that's what I call BP Rewards.
Totally BP Rewards.
Start earning today. BP Rewards. Your rewards, your way.
Do it, baby. It's on, mate.
Make this week one to remember. Run second, third or even fourth and get money back in bonus up to $50 on selected races every day. PointsBet.
Sam Pang's back Monday nights.
I'm not unhappy with that.
The new season returns tonight.
Love against the odds and the desperate bid for a baby. At home with footy titan Max Delmage and his wife Sam, almost 40 years his junior.
Plus, Lisa McCune joins us live.
My husband is at it again.
Tomorrow on Studio 10.
It is weather time, Josh. Cool mornings and sunny afternoons.
That's the recipe this week, Georgie. We're looking at the stable weather pattern unfolding across areas of Queensland as we get across the next few days. We'll have the cool starts first thing in the morning, and then those beautiful, fine and sunny afternoons will follow, all thanks to a large area of high pressure sitting across parts of the country. We'll look at that in detail in a moment. Firstly, to the weather cam, where today in Brisbane we hit a top of 26 degrees, a couple of degrees above average for this time of year after an overnight low of 12. Although Ipswich dropping down to 3.6 degrees earlier today. That is a whopping 6.4 degrees below average. Right now in the CBD, we're seeing on 19 degrees, humidity at 58% and the winds at 11 kilometres per hour. Diving into the satellite picture, you can see clear skies across a large portion of Queensland today. A little bit of cloud cover across areas of the Cape, a few isolated showers as well. But apart from that, most areas of Queensland were clear under a broad area of high pressure. We've got a bit of low cloud cloud here pushing across areas of southern Victoria and also Tasmania. As I pop out of the way, you'll see this beautiful arc of white cloud moving in over the southwest of WA. That is in fact a cold front that's bringing a few showers, and also some colder air in behind this system as well, indicated here by the speckled cloud you can see on screen. So certainly the conveyor belt of cold frontal activity will continue this week, although these frontal systems will be confined across southern parts of the country. So this system will track into the bight as we get through tomorrow, crash into this high pressure system and slip a little bit further south. And as you can see, it's the dominant system over the eastern seaboard as we get across tomorrow. Wind spin anti-clockwise around a high, as you can see here. And as this system starts to shift a little bit further eastwards, the winds tend a little bit more onshore. And as a result of that, we'll see a few showers develop, but they'll be mostly around the coastal exposed areas. I don't think we'll see too much in terms of heavy rainfall, but the odd spit and spat nonetheless. Inland areas of Queensland will remain fine, clear and also calm. Now, on the predicted rain chart, as we get through tomorrow, you can just see that coastal shower activity clipping our coastal areas. As mentioned, the exposed parts of the coast, the islands, probably seeing the best of it. Other areas will remain dry. However, we're expecting another cold start first thing tomorrow morning. As a result, we could see those widespread frost patches again across areas of the southeast inland. In fact, temperatures this morning plummeting. We had Applethorpe down to -2, 8 below average, and even Stanthorpe getting down to -1.5 degrees, and that was 7 below average. So expect those temperatures again across areas of the Darling Downs and Granite Belt. Into the big picture across the nation, Sydney, chance of a shower tomorrow, 21 degrees. A foggy start in Melbourne. A cool start as well, down to 7 overnight, 19 through the afternoon. Partly cloudy skies for Hobart and 17 degrees. A sunny day on the way for Adelaide with 21. Showers and thunderstorms for Perth with that unstable air in behind that cold front as it moves across the southwest of WA. And Darwin tomorrow going for mostly sunny skies at the top of 34 degrees. Back home, just a slight chance of a shower for Cairns tomorrow, 28, 22 the top for Atherton and 30 degrees for Townsville. 29 for Longreach tomorrow, 24 for Roma. And we're looking at a dry day for Rocky, Bundaberg, Maryborough and Gympie. Those temperatures pretty consistent and very nice, I might add, up into the mid-20s pretty consistently there. For the southeast, mostly sunny for tomorrow. The medium chance of showers near the coastal fringe. They'll be most likely in the afternoon and evening. Overnight temperatures falling to between 7 and 13 degrees. Daytime temperatures reaching the low to mid-20s. We're going for 24 at the Gold Coast, 23 at the sunny coast. Slight chance of a shower tomorrow, nothing much in it. 25 the top for Logan and 21 for Toowoomba. Out on the bay, south to southeasters through the afternoon, 20 to 25 knots, and the seas up to 1.5 metres in the Northern Bay. For Brisbane City, tops of 25 degrees tomorrow, one above average for this time of year. 25 Wednesday, slight chance of a shower, only 50% chance. 26 degrees and dry skies Thursday and Friday. Another cool start tomorrow for Ipswich, 27 Wednesday, Thursday. The extended forecast for the Golden Sunshine Coast coming up shortly.
School's back. We're following this major development for you tonight on 10 News First. The Premier paves the way for seniors and preps to return next week, with all students back in class by the end of the month. Flouting our freedom, tens of thousands of dollars in fines handed out to partygoers who were given an inch but took a mile. And Australia and New Zealand tip to form a border bubble that will help international flights take off once again. Every Queensland student will return to school by the end of the month if the Premier gets her way. Anastasia Palaszczuk has finally unveiled her plan to get more kids in classrooms, but it all hinges on one thing. John Paul Gonzo explains.
The Premier herself concedes the learning from home arrangements have been tough, difficult and challenging. Under mounting pressure to reveal her plan to fully reopen schools today, Anastasia Palaszczuk did just that. From May 11, kindy, prep, Year 1, Year 11 and Year 12 students can go back to school. 5 days later, those arrangements will be reviewed. On May 25, the remainder of students are set to return.
All going to plan, low transmissions continuing. We are planning to have all children back in the classroom with full lessons.
Learning will look very different. While students aren't required to social distance, adults do. Classrooms will undergo extra cleaning and there'll be no assemblies or excursions.
If there was an outbreak in a school, we would have to close that school down, do the deep cleaning and everything, but we have plans in place.
And most importantly, drop-off and pick-up arrangements will be changed to ensure coronavirus is contained.
That's when people congregate, that's when adults congregate, and that's actually the biggest risk in all this.
Today in Queensland, only 3 new cases. It's believed the infections originated somewhere else, the UK, US and a cruise ship. There's been a decline in the number of people getting tested. Anyone showing symptoms is urged to get checked.
Partygoers who deliberately flouted social distancing rules have paid a heavy price. As Samantha Butler explains, dozens were caught out over the weekend, with one gathering racking up more than $30,000 in fines.
It was an Airbnb birthday bash that became very expensive for a group of revellers in Carrara on the Gold Coast. Police received a noise complaint for the rental on Saturday night, arriving to find 18 people breaching social distancing rules. They all copped a $1,300 fine, but 5 of the partygoers were repeat offenders. Police had been called to the same property the night before, issuing 7 infringement notices.
To go back a second time, I think we're all in disbelief. Completely unacceptable.
It wasn't the only party pumping over the weekend. Dozens fled from a disco in Pimpama when officers arrived, leaving the 28-year-old host to cop the fine, while another 9 people were caught out at a birthday party in a Banyo unit. Across the state over the past 2 days, a total of 146 fines were issued for breaching public health directions. Today, Queenslanders made the most of the long weekend and the majority were abiding by the rules. But it will take at least 14 days to know the impact of the eased restrictions on infection rates.
Police are tonight stepping up their patrols of popular Gold Coast landmarks that were overwhelmed at the weekend. If large crowds continue to gather at places like Burleigh, it could force authorities to reintroduce tougher restrictions.
While it was popular before, today Burleigh Hill was getting a lot of attention for all the wrong reasons. Last night, hundreds gathered on the picturesque headland to watch the sunset over the Gold Coast, and in doing so could have undone a month's worth of social isolation.
Wasn't ideal for the situation we're currently in, but yeah, sort of moving forward, hopefully everyone's sort of a bit better behaved tonight.
Police were monitoring the crowds last night, but as it grew, they were forced to call in backup. Instead of handing out fines, they asked people to move on.
In most cases, people did, but the problem is they were there to start with. The area was far too small for the number of people that were there.
That leniency ended yesterday. Police say anyone caught breaching restrictions around Burleigh from today could face fines without any further warnings.
We'll have an increased police presence tonight, and our posture will have to be one that is probably less of engagement and more about enforcement.
Today, council set up barriers and signs to warn people not to overwhelm the area. Further measures could be taken if crowds continue to gather.
What you should be doing is getting in your car and going somewhere else or going home. This is a common sense approach.
Police say they'll continue to work with people in popular spots to ensure rules are adhered to, in a bid to prevent a return to tougher restrictions.
Fingers crossed we don't spoil it and we're going to go back to being isolated again.
Matthew Howard for 10 News First.
We've had our strongest indication yet that the federal government is closer to opening our international borders. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern will discuss a plan to lift travel bans between our 2 countries at tomorrow's National Cabinet meeting. It's the first time a foreign leader has been invited to take part in the Leaders' Conference.
The meeting will discuss a range of matters in relation to the COVID response on both sides of the Tasman, including the creation of a trans-Tasman travel bubble.
Both governments have made it clear negotiations are likely to take time, but suggest borders could reopen later this year. We're expected to hear more details tomorrow. Another elderly resident has lost his life at a Western Sydney nursing home. He had no loved ones to comfort him in his final moments, just the carers who had become like family.
Another life lost inside the Newmarch aged care home. Anglicare confirming the elderly man was alone. He had no immediate family, just the staff at the facility who cared for him. But his loss is being felt by all of the families of residents here.
There's been a pit in your stomach for like 3 weeks now, and every time you see the announcement, your heart goes out to another family.
Anthony Bowe's 76-year-old mum Pat has tested positive. He wants her out of the facility as soon as she's clear of the virus.
And she has to pass 2 negative tests in 3 days. and then hopefully from there we can take her out.
Today was the first day of stricter protocols for the facility, with all staff now being tested before each shift. Families are also now being allowed to book time to visit their loved ones and see them through a window.
She hasn't really changed in 2 months, so it was a relief to see that, you know, she's still well.
For the Rimmer family, this was the first time seeing their mum Pat for 2 months. 15 elderly residents have died here. 37 have tested positive, alongside 26 staff. Health authorities are now investigating if more than one staff member brought the virus into the centre.
And that requires, going through all the medical records, re-interviewing staff, trying to find any other chain. So it's actually quite an intensive piece of detective work.
But one discovery health authorities have made is that the genetic fingerprint of the virus that's inside this facility is the same behind a number of clusters in the Penrith area, and that means it could have come from the same source.
There's linkages between a number of other clusters, so it is the virus that was circulating in the community.
I think they're making it up on the run. There's one plan one day and then another plan the next day. I think they've been chasing the tail from the start.
Ursula Hager for 10 News First.
We have some breaking news now, and fire has engulfed the Coogin Leagues Club at Kingscliff. These pictures just into the newsroom show just how fierce the blaze is. Emergency crews received multiple calls for help. Members of the public are being urged to avoid the area. Westpac has revealed a significant impact to its books as COVID-19 and the fallout from an Austrac money laundering investigation start to bite. A rise in revenue wasn't enough to stop a more than 60% slump in net profit. Gillian Bowen has the day in finance.
Hello there. Another of our big banks is counting the cost of coronavirus. Westpac, the latest to unveil a massive hit to its bottom line in what the new CEO has described as its most difficult result in many years. Cash profit has plunged 70% to $993 million. The bank is bracing for a $1.6 billion hit from COVID-19 losses. It's set aside $900 million for a potential penalty from Austrac's money laundering lawsuit, and it won't be paying a dividend to shareholders in June. Now, COVID-19 restrictions have also seen job ads tumble and break a record set during the global financial crisis, falling more than 53% in April to just over 62,000 advertised positions. They're down 62% on this time last year. ANZ researchers noting the unprecedented speed of the shutdown's impact. To the share market, it started moving up just before lunch, which coincided with the release of building approval numbers. There was a decline in April, but it was much better than forecast, so it finished up 1.4%. Westpac up almost 3% despite its profit drop, with Flight Centre seeing the red after revealing a heavy impact on last month's sales. A quick look at the dollar, and it's buying just under 63 US cents. And that's finance.
Coming up, America's pandemic pushback as anti-lockdown sentiment grows. Also at home and online. The privacy tools you need to give security threats the boot. Plus, snatch and grab the miniature kidnapper who wasn't monkeying around.
Will cutting migration help save jobs for Aussies? Plus, how to work out from home with a little help from the web. See you tonight.
At Bunnings, we're here to help with some simple projects you can do while you're at home, like getting started on that veggie patch. You can shop online, order what you need, and we'll bundle it up for you. It's like having the warehouse at your fingertips.
When was the last time you washed your hands? Go on. In 20 seconds, you can help reduce the spread of infection. We don't care which soap you use. We care that you care. For you and for all. Dove.
Save 20% on your second policy when you buy new eligible Suncorp home and car insurance together before July 10. Helping you save when you need it most. That's the Suncorp spirit.
Huddling at home? Try Domino's new Chicken Parmesan Deep Pan. With 22 succulent chicken pieces and crispy rasher bacon from just $15 delivered. Order now with total peace of mind thanks to zero contact delivery from Domino's.
It was this photo that she put up of me online. And I was sort of like, why didn't you tell me I was losing my hair?
I thought he knew.
Reached your turning point? The doctors at Ashley & Martin could help regrow your hair.
The game that makes the most millionaires is giving you 20 million more reasons to get super excited this Saturday. Gold Lotto's $20 million Super Draw Saturday. Play now in-store at thelot.com or the Lot app.
This Mother's Day, make your gift to Mum a thoughtful one with a big brand fragrance from Chemist Warehouse. There's Jimmy Choo 40ml for $39.99 or Izzy Miyake 100ml for $79.99 and Yves Saint Laurent Black Opium 50ml $119.99. Shop online at chemistwarehouse.com.au. Select click and collect or call your local store to arrange contact-free delivery. Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day.
Your next royal TV show obsession.
To my new wife, the Empress of Russia. Huzzah!
Starring Elle Fanning and Nicholas Hoult.
I'm married to an idiot.
The brand new series
Rabbit.
that gives tradition the royal finger.
God himself spat me forth for greatness. Why does he make you a woman then? For comedy.
The brand new series, The Great, premieres May 16, only on Stan.
1, 2, 3, 4. So clap it back. Hey, clap, clap. So clap it back. Hey, I'm getting you right back. 'Cause you're not gonna stand around living like that. So clap it back. Clap it, clap, clap. Alright, so clap it back. Hey.
Centrum provides multiple health benefits in just one tablet. Centrum, complete from A to Zinc.
Have you been missing Ed, Ursula, Marty, Kitty, and Sam?
What? I love you so much.
I did not understand a word of that.
Well, tonight, they're back.
This is awesome. I think we know why.
I've given you the points. What more do you want?
Just you to admit that you're wrong.
The new season of Have You Been Paying Attention returns tonight.
Donald Trump has boldly declared America will have a coronavirus vaccine by the end of the year. The claim comes as protests to reopen the country continue to grow, despite the death toll doing the same.
A flotilla of fired-up Americans sailed home the message. It's time for the lockdown to go to water. Hundreds of boats, one even emblazoned with a Trump banner, tore through Florida's Palm Beach waterways. But at least this protest was socially distanced. More than can be said for countless others playing out daily across the states.
It's devastatingly worrisome to me personally, because if they go home and infect their grandmother or their grandfather who has a comorbid condition and they have a serious or an unfortunate outcome, they will feel guilty for the rest of our lives.
As more states continue to ease restrictions and reopen, the US has seen a spike in total case numbers and fatalities. A surge over the weekend pushed its death toll past 67,000.
We're going to lose anywhere from 75, 80 to 100,000 people. That's a horrible thing. But if we didn't do it, the minimum we would have lost is 1.2 million, 1.4 million, 1.5 million. That's the minimum.
And despite health officials and medical companies saying a cure is still a long way off,
we are very confident that we're going to have a vaccine at the end of the year. By the end of the year, have a vaccine.
It's an optimistic timeline at best, and we can expect to hear a familiar refrain if the president fails to deliver.
I am greeted with a hostile press, the likes of which no president has ever seen. The closest would be that gentleman right up there. They always said Lincoln. Nobody got treated worse than Lincoln. I believe I am treated worse.
Joe Hill for 10 News First.
COVID-19 has meant a growing number of Queenslanders have been forced to adopt a new online life at home. But the state's Privacy Commissioner has told 10 News First, with the change of pace comes plenty of risks that we all need to look out for.
Chances are, right now, you're embracing technology more often or in ways you weren't before COVID-19 changed life as we know it. That rapid uptake has us downloading, interacting and embracing new apps, often without reading the fine print.
You're the product. If you're not paying for it, you're the product.
and people are selling your data, and some very unassuming apps like flashlights have actually been selling data and stripping it out.
Paul Green is the state's Commissioner for Privacy. He says there's never been a more important time to discuss what threats technology can pose.
Particularly for working from home and studying from home, is don't use public Wi-Fi. You have to have secure connections for when you're transmitting your data and, doing your banking and things like that.
The debate is a hot one since millions signed up to the government's COVID tracing app. Mr. Green agrees it is a matter of trust.
Private sector gets it because they get to see what happens to their bottom line if they lose that trust. Government, the trouble is some of the cool stuff the government can do gets compromised if they don't get the trust, so that the public loses as well.
He says the federal government is taking the right steps to ease concerns.
It gives some good assurances. I'd like to see those backed up by legislation, which that's supposedly on the cards.
Today marks the start of Privacy Awareness Week. We're reminded to inform ourselves about privacy risks and undertake a check of our data defences. A number of tools to help you secure yourself online are available at this website. Chris Campy for 10 News First.
Now to the snatch and grab that really needs to be seen to be believed. A monkey tried to steal a young child off a street in Jakarta and it didn't muck around. The primate motored up a laneway and dragged the girl a couple of metres before bystanders chased it away. The toddler wasn't seriously injured. Lucky toddler,
yeah,
one very
stuff.
cheeky monkey.
Yeah.
John, back to you with more sport.
Thank you, Georgie. Hello again. There are reports that Latrell Mitchell is one of 4 Rabbitohs who've been tested for coronavirus after being turned away by the club. Meanwhile, the Melbourne Storm are moving to Albury. They're about to become the Albury Storm. The NRL powerhouse will reboot its 2020 campaign in the New South Wales border town with restrictions still in place in Victoria.
Emerging from hibernation, Cameron Smith's isolation bid only overshadowed by a sly fox fronting up to Craig Bellamy.
How you going? Very well.
Melbourne Storm will be based in Albury for the next week at least, and it's not the only change coming under the new NRL protocols.
We've got a week where there's no contact, if you like, so no tackling, no wrestling, training within groups of 10 or less.
I think in some ways it probably does compromise our prep, but it is what it is, and that's what I keep saying. The team that adapts the best will come out of the box really well.
It's only taken a day for the Warriors to fit into the Tamworth lifestyle.
Once they start, lifting some weights in the gym tomorrow, we'll pay respects to the local community by putting some country music on.
The Warriors coach knows behaviour is paramount for players across the league.
Be smart, do the right thing, and get our game back up and running.
If players and staff can do the right thing, there's never been a better opportunity to promote rugby league to a worldwide audience.
To be the only sport potentially in the world, come back to the game, it's a really big step for us.
Tigers players had to return the gym equipment they've borrowed for the past 6 weeks. Other clubs looking like they were heading to a Freddie Fittler earthing session. Clubs following protocols by the book as Big Brother is watching.
It'll get reinforced today really strongly, and it'll get reinforced every day. There will be liaison officers from the NRL basically watching us every day.
The Roosters put to the test today. They've isolated head coach Trent Robinson, who's being tested for the virus. Running a training session via Zoom, sure to be a challenge, even for a premiership coach. Jake Horrocks for 10 News First.
AFL clubs could be back to training as early as next week. The game set to undertake mass testing of players in a bid to ensure they're all healthy before sending them back to their clubs.
As a group of people, we will be subjected to the most rigorous testing regime that you could imagine.
Just like the NRL, teams will be forced to stagger their training. They'll initially only be allowed to train in groups of up to 10. A big old bingo kicked off the virtual Brazilian Grand Prix, which was eventually won by Red Bull's Alex Albon.
In 2020, it's victory for Alex Albon, who ends the streak of Charles Leclerc, beats the Ferrari driver.
There was no pretending it was the real thing in the virtual MotoGP as riders treated their bikes like bumper cars in Spain. In the end, Maverick Vinales was crowned champ of the carnage. It's always easier on virtual, Georgie.
Yeah. Thank you, Jono. Well, coming up, Josh has the latest on the big freeze.
MasterChef's out of the kitchen and into the burbs.
Who likes typhoon?
It's a terrific challenge
Oh my God, this is hectic.
with a Titanic disaster.
Guys, there's water leaking and electricity.
But whose dish will be the most advertising?
What a feast.
Gorgeous.
It's a huge winner. It is delicious. Yum.
MasterChef's terrific challenge, 7:30 tonight.
Even though we need to stay inside, we can still keep moving. Even when you're not outside, you can still move like you are. Because even when spaces are limited, you can still move without limits.
Where did your family story begin? Why did they leave for distant shores? Who did they meet and who did they love? Find the answers with Ancestry DNA, the world's most popular consumer DNA test. Connect with the people and places that led to you. Start your DNA journey at ancestry.com.au.
Feed the family with Hungry Jack's new family bundle. Treat yourself with 2 Whoppers, 2 cheeseburgers, 4 small chips, 4 Cokes, 10 nuggets and sauce, only $24.95. Get takeaway, drive-through or delivery at Hungry Jack's.
In tough times, Queenslanders stand strong. We've weathered all kinds of natural disaster together. And while this crisis is like no other, RACQ will continue to be here for you. On the roads, in the skies and from our homes. It's about Queenslanders helping Queenslanders. For members doing it tough financially, visit racq.com/help or call 13 1905. RACQ is here for you.
At Drake's, the health of our customers and team is paramount. That's why we've partnered with Academy Services to use NanoSan, a natural spray that kills 99.9% of pathogens. Drake's are committed to providing our customers with a safe shopping environment.
Should I be worried? With COVID-19 Health Assist, eligible members can receive health advice from hundreds of Medibank healthcare experts at no extra cost. See how we're providing better support today.
I thought my teeth were clean, but my dentist said no, there's still plaque. Switch your brush from this to one with a rounded brush head.
Oral-B is rounded to reach between teeth and gums, gently removing plaque for healthier gums. Oral-B, brush like a pro.
It is the heart of the home, it's the heart of our family, it's the heart of our social life. We need it to last a long time, and that's where quality comes in. Every kitchen is different, every size is different, so we have such a great range here.
It's a nice feeling to walk into a brand new kitchen. We definitely make the whole process affordable and easy. So from start to finish, Bunnings makes it super easy to get your state-of-the-art kitchen for your budget.
So to create the amazing look without the big prices, beautiful kitchens at an affordable price that look amazing.
Up next, schools are planning to open across the country, but are some states moving too fast? The US government claims the coronavirus pandemic started in a Chinese lab. We look into the allegations. And Danny Venn kicked out of the MasterChef kitchen. We ask her why she didn't use that damn immunity pin. Project, next.
Well, time for a final look at the weather. Josh, another frosty start.
Certainly will be for parts of the Darling Downs, Georgie. Those temperatures this morning plummeted into the minuses. Areas like Applethorpe getting down to -2. We should see a similar setup as we get through tomorrow, thanks to this large area of high pressure providing the clear skies to allow all that heating to escape through the atmosphere at night and allowing those temperatures to drop first thing in the morning. It's still directing tomorrow some onshore winds for the Queensland coast. The coastal exposed areas could see a shower or two as we get through Tuesday, and also for parts of the Gold and Sunshine Coast. So just keep that in the back of your minds. Nothing really that heavy on the way as we get through Tuesday, and through the inland it will be fine, clear and calm. Chance of a shower tomorrow for Cairns, tops of 28 degrees and partly cloudy skies for Atherton and Townsville. 29 the top for the Isa and Longreach, 24 for Roma, and it should be a fine day for Rocky, Bundaberg, Maryborough and Gympie. Mostly sunny for the southeast, the medium chance of showers near the coast as mentioned. Overnight temperatures falling to between 7 and 13 degrees. Daytime temperatures through the afternoon, the low to mid-20s. We're going for 25 at Logan and Ipswich, 21 at Toowoomba. Into Brisbane, 25 degrees the top tomorrow, one above average for this time of year after an overnight low of 13 degrees. Just the chance of a shower on Wednesday with 25 and 26 atop Thursday and Friday this week. Should be dry right through the next few days for Ipswich, 25 and 9 degrees for first thing Tuesday, 27 over Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, even Saturday hitting the same mark, as mentioned, staying dry. But for the Gold Coast, we're looking at a shower or two Tuesday and also Wednesday. That's just a possible shower on Friday with a top of 26 degrees, back to fine skies over the two best days of the week. Now we've got showers increasing on Tuesday for the sunny coast and 23, and showers on the forecast for Wednesday, so we could need the umbrella further north, and just a slight chance of a shower Friday and Saturday this week. Georgie?
Thank you, Josh. Well, that is 10 News First for now. For more details on tonight's stories, head to 10 Daily, but stay on 10. The project is next. We'll be back tomorrow at 5. We'll see you then. Good night.
Tonight, the calls to cut back